first part of my latest Doctor Who action figure review. Today I'm going to be looking at the brand new, just released Doctor Who The 11 Doctors figure set. And in this review I'm basically going to go through each of the Doctors, including the new series ones, which I don't usually do because I'm not keen on the new series enough to have to go through all the nonsense of the figures. But seeing as this is all one set, I've decided that I'll do this for a one-off. So without further ado, I shall begin by looking at the first figure in the set, which is the first Doctor as seen in the John Pertwee story, The Three Doctors. So this variation on the first Doctor is from the third Doctor serial, The Three Doctors, something I wasn't expecting. I was expecting for them to release an actual costume that Bill Hartnell wore in his own seasons, whether it be the checkered checkered tie, the smaller checkered trousers, sort of used in the 10th Planet, but it's a welcome addition. Now, this figure is exactly the same as the original release, the San Diego Comic-Con release. It is the same sculpt, and the whole figure is basically just a repaint. So the only differences are that the shoes no longer have the black and brown highlights. They're just sort of a dark grey, blacky colour. The trousers no longer have any checks, and they are now just a plain dark grey. The waistcoat is now a sort of a off-white with grey checks going across and going down. The monocle is still there. The cravat is now completely black as opposed to being blue. The walking stick accessory also is been moulded in black, like the Unearthly Child walking stick. So I'm not quite sure why they've decided to go for that and not the brown. There may have been a reason, possibly due to the San Diego Comic-Con version, I'm not sure. The face sculpt, again, is exactly the same. Very nice detail. And it's sort of quite red around the eyes and sort of along the mouth. But the sculpt is very good. Good likeness of William Hartnell. And I think this is a nice... Yeah, it's a nice variation on the Doctor that I wasn't expecting. I'm very glad that it wasn't the Unearthly Child version that it was rumoured to be. And the articulation is your standard 360 in the head, shoulders, elbows, biceps, wrists, hips, thighs, knees. It's all the same as from the original version. So that's really all I have to say on the first Doctor. There's not really much difference from the initial release. Now if we look at the second Doctor, there's a reason why I've kept him there. Again, this version of the second Doctor is also from the Three Doctors. Again, this was something I wasn't expecting. I was hoping for sort of like the big fur coat. I wasn't really worried about a stovepipe hat. I know some people wanted that version, but he hardly ever wore the stupid thing. So I'm glad in a way that we never got that. So again, it's the same sculpt as the original San Diego Comic-Con version, but again, it's had a repaint. The shoes are now just sort of black. The trousers are grey with very light grey checkers. From far back, they're quite hard to see, but they are there. The shirt is now a dark blue. The bow tie is now black with white dots. The buttons have now been repainted white as opposed to silver. The handkerchief is the same red, but it now has a sort of creamy pattern, two-tone pattern going on, stripes. And the face sculpt, again, is the same. However, they've painted it differently from the San Diego Comic-Con version, because the original had sort of black, it's like eyeliner around the eyes, which sort of really intensified it. And I think it makes this version of Pat maybe look slightly older, which is good, because obviously by this point Pat was looking a little bit older, but not too much. And yeah, like I said, it's exactly the same articulation-wise. Comes with the exact same accessory, his recorder, as used in the Three Doctors. So, overall, a nice version to have. Again, I personally would have preferred the big fur coat, but, I mean, for the set, which is £50, you can only really expect mainly repaints. Lots of tweaks and sculpts are expensive to do, and you probably would have to pay a lot more if you were going to want something like that. So that was the first two Doctors. Now, with the first two being from the Three Doctors, you half expect that the third Doctor was also going to be from the Three Doctors with his orange jacket. However, that isn't the case. What we have is the third Doctor from the Carnival of Monsters. So this figure uses a lot of the elements of the Forbidden Planet Underground Toys exclusives. Now, if you remember before, I commented on the inaccuracies of the other ones, saying that the sculpt wasn't correct on the Green Death version and on the Sea Devil version and on the Death to the Daleks version. The reason being is because this is the sculpt. Those first Jon Pertwee releases only came about because they actually sculpted this. So, although it's been released later, this was the basis of those other figures. So this is actually the most screen-accurate Pertwee we've ever got. And they've chosen to do the Carnival of Monsters costume, which was a one-off, and although the green jacket, the green shirt, and the brown and orange cloak was used a lot, so I was quite surprised that they decided to do the version that he only wore it once. I was expecting to be the more common version, with the dicky bow and with the trousers and shoes, as opposed to the boots. So, again, this figure just uses the bits of the figures that we've already seen, and it's just been repainted. So we have the shirts of sort of a very light, sort of sky blue, turquoisey colour, and the cravat's just the same black. The cloak looks really good, because now it's in two tones of brown, which really highlight the details of the buttons and the collar, and the orange works well with that too. There is a slight difference with the Pertwee face. The eyebrows are a lot darker than on the earlier releases. The face is also slightly thinner. Not sure why they've done that, because when I first saw it, it looked quite strange. On camera, he looks okay, but it is slightly thinner, at least I think it is, compared to the other Pertwees. He also comes with his sonic screwdriver, which is the same red and yellow version we've seen on the other figures. And just like the Sea Devil Pertwee, the cloak is removable. Now, lots of people had trouble with removing the cloak from the other version, and it was extremely difficult to remove. This seems to have been rectified slightly, because the rubber that they've used, the PVC, is a lot softer, and therefore makes it a lot easier to remove. It's still a bit of a bugger to put back on, though, unfortunately, but overall, it's a lot softer. I mean, you can see how bendy it is in comparison to the Sea Devil one, which was very, very stiff. And Pertwee looks really good without his cloak on as well. I think some people commented on that it looked a bit garish, and I saw a few pictures, and I think it was just the flash, because in sort of normal light, it looks okay. So it's nice to have another version of Pertwee. I mean, Pertwee's costumes were basically all the same, just in different colours, so I expect that this is not the last of the Pertwees we shall be seeing. I mean, like I said, you've got another version of this colour scheme, just with a different dicky bow and different legs, all of which exist as sculpts. And so putting the cloak on is again a bit of a problem, just like with the other release. It's not really something I think they're ever going to sort out very well, unless they keep making the rubber softer. But if they keep doing that, there's obviously the possibility that the rubber will tear, which you don't want. Just seeing if I can get that in. There we go. Oh, go on, John, you silly sod.